Small industrial projects pose unique challenges in the context of capital and non-capital projects. In this morning's first plenary presentation, Great Taste, Less Filling, PDRI for Small Industrial Projects, Research Team 314 introduces the Project Definition Rating Index, or PDRI, designed for small industrial projects, a new front-end planning tool. From RT 314, please welcome Brad Lynch, Quality Management Specialist for TransCanada Corporation.
Good morning, buenos dias, welcome. I'm proud to represent the Research Team 314 in this presentation. I introduce the latest exciting PDRI tool, PDRI Small Industrial Projects. Affectionately known as SIP, or Small Industrial Projects, it's the fourth tool in the PDRI family, augmenting the most widely used and downloaded CII front-end planning tools. We have shamelessly stolen a byline from the beer industry, great taste, less filling. And by the end of the implementation session, as well as this presentation, you'll agree that this new tool has the same great taste as the other PDRIs, and due to its efficient assessment approach, is truly less filling. We know that project teams want and need effective and easy-to-use tools to lead their performance revolutions. PDRI tools provide more certainty in cost and schedule outcomes while helping the project teams mitigate risk. We believe that we have the best product supporting the conference theme here in Boston. We want you to consider these questions about small projects within your organization. Our research has confirmed that companies do have a large number of small projects, and the number is growing. Moreover, cost and schedule overruns are fairly common. CII addressed these issues by convening our research team to develop an assessment tool directed towards these types of projects. So what was the task of this research team? We want to ensure that we complement the existing PDRI tools without reinventing the wheel. The tool had to be easy to use and able to quantitatively measure the level of scope definition at different stages in the planning process. And the tool must provide a comprehensive checklist and action plan to address planning gaps. Our research team was formed in May 2013. Our team represents world-leading owner and contractor organizations in the industry. More specifically, our team members are experienced professionals with a heavy focus on industrial-type projects. Let's start with the basics for those not familiar with PDRI. I'd ask for a show of hands, but I can't see anybody out there. The PDRI was developed to help project teams understand and take action on issues of importance and to mitigate risk. It is a front-end planning tool that facilitates dialogue and alignment among the project team members relating to scope definition. In fact, it gets all the team members nodding in the same direction regarding where they are in their project with regards to scope definition. Over the past 20 years, 4 PDRI tools have been developed. The PDRI Industrial is used to assess industrial projects such as generation facilities, chemical processing, tank farms, or paper mills. The PDRI Building is used to assess building projects such as hospitals, schools, office towers, or hotels. The PDRI Infrastructure is used to assess infrastructure projects such as highways, electrical transmission lines, pipelines, or gas distribution systems. These efforts have been extended to the PDRI Small Industrial, or SIP, in 2015. The PDRI SIP is used to assess smaller industrial projects with less expenditure and complexity, continuing the same great taste as the other tools. In developing the PDRI SIP, we followed a similar path to previous PDRI research teams. First, we had to clearly define what a small industrial project is to set our research boundaries. Using PDRI Industrial as a baseline, our team created a detailed list of elements required to fully define the scope of a small industrial project. We then organized elements into categories and sections to develop the score sheet. We then conducted a series of workshops engaging 65 participants to test the element descriptions, weigh the elements, and ensure that the descriptions were applicable to all types of small industrial projects. Next, we tested our tool on 54 real projects. And finally, we produced the publications and tool, which are now available for download on the conference app, conference website, and thumb drives that will be distributed in the implementation sessions. To develop a definition for small projects, we conducted a survey of 90 participants and 39 companies and found there wasn't a widely accepted definition of small. Even a previous CII research team in 1991, challenged with a definition, concluded that a small project was not a large project. We found that small projects are different in a number of ways. For instance, changes have a great impact on cost and schedule. Many small industrial projects are brownfield, so interfaces to existing facilities is important. Though shorter in duration and less costly, the combined number of projects have a large impact to the organization. We will discuss these and others in our implementation session. Since there is no single definition of small, we developed a selection guide to help determine which PDRI to use, PDRI-SIP or PDRI Industrial. With this guide, each company is able to determine what their definition is for their projects. In the implementation sessions, we'll be discussing the project complexity factors, as well as the use of the selection guide. Our research concluded that small projects had a more concurrent approach to front-end planning. We recommend that the tool be used once or twice during the front-end planning phase to measure the progress of scope definition as shown in the diagram. The assessment should be facilitated by a third-party facilitator to ensure consistency. For those of you who are familiar with the PDRI Industrial, there is a different focus in the PDRI-SIP. All of the sections are shorter and have fewer elements. The basis of decision section has a lower weighting. We found that these projects were typically given to the project team as opposed to them having to develop the rationale for the project. An example of this is where a maintenance program is developed by an asset management group. The execution approach section has a significantly higher weighting than the PDRI Industrial. Our research shows that more emphasis should be on execution, since the bulk of these costs and activities are more important in smaller projects. You'll note that the evaluation time for an industrial project is 2 to 5 hours, while a small industrial project, the evaluation is 60 to 90 minutes. Truly, less filling. PDRI is like golf. The lower the score or rating, the better defined your project is. The PDRI scoring will range from 1,000, where we know absolutely nothing about the project, to 70, where all elements are fully defined. In evaluating your project, you should get to the appropriate value for your project at that point in time. For those of you familiar with the existing 3 PDRI tools, you know that PAR, or an appropriate level of definition, is 200 at the end of front-end planning. On our PDRI-SIP golf course, PAR is 300. We evaluated a total of 40 completed projects with our new tool, representing about $151 million in investment. We compared projects with PDRI score over 300 to those under 300 at the end of front-end planning. We found that the projects with the lower score, on average, performed 16% better in terms of cost and 15% better in terms of schedule, with cost being statistically significant. Do you want 16% better cost results on your projects? Come to our implementation sessions and find out. Still pondering the questions I asked at the start of this session? We have a panel of highly qualified industry professionals led by Scott Penrod that will provide more details in the development of the PDRI-SIP, how the PDRI-SIP is used, how to score or assess, and how you might implement it in your organization. As well, we will have some people giving testimonials from organizations that have already used the tool. Of course, there will be time for questions, and we will be handing out a trifold information sheet and thumb drive of the new tool and documents. For those of you who can't find space in the room during the implementation session, come to our booth in the display area so you can take a sip of the new PDRI. I don't often go to implementation sessions, but when I do, I go to PDRI-SIP industrial sessions. Come take a sip with us in the Grand Ballroom, H&I room at 11 and 1 o'clock. See for yourself that the PDRI Small Industrial Projects really has a great taste and is less filling. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you in the implementation sessions.